那个倒没有。
对，那个过很陡的，那个。
So that was hiking the Alpine Circuit and the Lake McArthur Trail at Lake O'Hara. This part of the video is just going to be about my experience on the trail, giving you any advice and tips on how to make the most of your time in the Lake O'Hara area. We decided to do the Alpine Circuit because it would allow us to see all of the highlights in one day. Parks Canada has limited access to the area as the alpine meadows and slopes are very sensitive to trail damage. There are a couple of ways to get to the Lake O'Hara area. My dad and I spent one night at the Lake O'Hara campground after snagging a last-minute cancellation. When you reserve a site at the campground, you also get a reservation for one of those buses that takes you in to the Lake O'Hara area. I believe you get to pick from a variety of options for bus times. We chose to go at 8 o'clock, so the earliest bus possible, just so that we could make the most of our time in the area. When you book a campsite, you're allowed to bring 2 bags. Most people brought one duffel bag that contained all their camping stuff, so their tent, their cooking stuff, clothes, and then another bag for hiking. I'm used to doing multi-day hikes, so I just brought one bag, my Northern Ultralight Sundown pack, which allows me to carry everything that I need. The other way of getting to the area is by entering the lottery for a spot on the day bus. The bus allows you to spend the day in the area. For those who are unlucky and unable to book anything, you're also able to access the area by walking up and down the 11-kilometer fire road. This makes for a very long day though, so if you're going to do that, I'd recommend that you get a very, very early start. There's also the option of booking a stay at the lodges in the Lake O'Hara area, though I hear they're quite expensive and also hard to book as well. If you're unable to book on opening day for reservations, I totally recommend keeping an eye out for cancellations, because that's how I got my spot. So how I got to the trailhead. I was already staying in the Banff area with my family, so my dad and I just made the drive over to the Lake O'Hara parking lot, and from the town of Banff it was about 1 hour. Once we got to the parking lot, we took all our stuff and we boarded the bus after presenting our reservations. Once we arrived at the campground, we immediately set up our tent to get rid of all the extra weight in our backpacks. We also left all our cooking supplies and extra supplies that we didn't need in the storage lockers and in the storage shelter. The Lake O'Hara campground is one of the fanciest backcountry campsites that I've ever seen. There are multiple shelters with fire stoves, tables, plenty of lockers, a storage room for bags, running water, and even washrooms that are cleaned daily. Now I'm going to walk you through my experience of the trail itself. First of all, the hike itself, as you can see, goes pretty much 360 around the Lake O'Hara region. And by the end of the hike, I used All Trails to record it. It says that we did about 16.7 kilometers total, and that's from the campground and back. We started off at the campground over here, and it's about a half a kilometer to the lake itself, so a 5 to 10 minute walk. And we crossed through a stream over here. There was a nice little bridge that you start off in, and you make your way around the shore of the lake itself. On the lake, you get to see a bit of the lodge, and you get views of the mountains surrounding. If you were to go right, it would take you just on a trail that goes around the lake itself, just the shoreline. We were doing the Alpine Circuit, so we went left. As you can see, it quickly gains a lot of elevation. It goes straight up this mountain over here. Now, I decided to go this way because I wanted to get the most challenging part of the hike over with first. Very quickly though, when you get to this area, you get good views of the area itself. And the trails are all very well marked. There is blue paint with some yellow dashes on them that kind of identify and help you to see where to follow. We made our way up continuously until we got up to the Weewaxie Gap. So this is the first of the alpine routes. And from here, it is an open view of the valley below and the mountains. When we got here, actually, it was raining pretty hard and it was quite exposed. It was also very windy, so we found it cold. We didn't spend as much time up here as we wanted to. So this is the next part of the trail, the Huber Ledges. And this part, it looks like it's on the side of the mountain, and that's pretty much because it is. There's definitely some trail exposure here. I would say that it's quite narrow. For myself, I didn't find it too bad as I've been on narrow ledges and hikes like that before. From this part itself though, you can actually see amazing views of the mountains around it, and you start to get a view of Lake O'Hara. So as you continue on, you kind of just descend this narrow ledge up until you get to the lake itself. It's kind of a bouldery area full of rocks. Lake O'Hara itself is actually very beautiful, and it's probably one of my favorite parts of this hike itself. What's interesting is that when you're hiking along the Huber ledges, you're actually on the other side of Lake Louise. So as you can see, Lake Louise is just over here. From Lake O'Hara, you then continue on to what is called the Yuknes ledges. This area is quite rocky. It's full of rock steps and boulders. A very steep section as you have to climb up. You're going upwards again after having descended to the lake. As you descend to this area, there is a fork in the path. We decided to go left to go to the Opabin Lake. Though if you didn't want to make the extra trek, you could just take this shortcut over here and skip Opabin Lake. If you're feeling pretty tired at this point, you could actually make an exit off the trail and just take this path all the way down back to the lakeshore. For this part of the trail, you do have a bit of a fork, and to the right here would be the Opabin Prospect, and then to the left would be to the All Souls Alpine route. We made yet another detour over here to the Opabin Prospect. This spot offers you pretty much an iconic view of the Lake O'Hara area. People will actually just hike up the Opabin Trail just to get to this spot and then go back down. But coming from there, we wanted to complete the Alpine Circuit, so we headed back on to where the trail forked, and we continued on to the All Souls Prospect route. As you can see here, it was yet another bit of elevation gain, so we kind of tirelessly made our way up the All Souls Alpine route. Eventually we got to the very peak, which would be the All Souls Prospect. From here, you get an amazing view of the Lake O'Hara area, and you can see the campground from here as well. From there, to get back to the campsite, it is a very, very steep descent down from the All Souls Prospect. From here, there are two ways to get back to the campsite. You can take the big largest trail, or you can take the Alpine Meadow. We opted to take the Alpine Meadow as it seemed that there was less elevation gain, and from there we went back down to the Lake O'Hara area. Located over here is Le Relais. This is their cafe where they sell coffee, hot drinks, snacks, food. I believe they have shirts, stickers, and they take cash only, so if you're here, make sure you take some cash with you. And from there, we just hiked back to the campsite, had a nice warm dinner, and then went to sleep. The next day, we wanted to make the most of our time by getting another hike in before taking the bus out of the Lake O'Hara area. We decided to explore the area into Lake McArthur, so we just went up the Alpine Meadows, and it honestly wasn't that difficult of a hike compared to what we did the previous day. We kind of went back up from the area that we had descended the previous day, but instead of going up, we went right and continued along the McArthur Pass Trail. When we got to the Lake McArthur area, it was quite gloomy, but honestly, it was very worth it. The lake itself is huge, and the area was very nice. We kind of had it to ourselves. We actually got back from Lake McArthur quite early before our bus departure time, so we decided to actually have a walk around the lake and back just to kill some time. And what was interesting was that it was late August, but it actually started to snow while we were there, so that was the first snowfall that I saw of the year. From there, we just headed back to the campsite, got on the bus, and we went home. Hopefully this video was informative and gave you good views, good pictures, and a good description of the Alpine Circuit Trail at Lake O'Hara. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. Leave a comment below. I'll leave a link to my Instagram where you can definitely send me a message. And thanks for watching.